to Couch Potato Diary. My name is Peter Klein. Thank you very much for hanging out today. As always, we are presented by Sea of Dead. Head over to seaofdead403.ca and grab all of that great Calgary swag. So, oh man, tough to catch your breath with all the playoffs and everything going on. That's going to be the main focus of things today, with some NFL thrown in and maybe some wrestling if we have time. So thank you all so much for hanging out. I know the schedule isn't always the most consistent. We're working on that here. But as always, so you don't miss anything, make sure you hit that subscribe button or follow, depending on the platform that you are on. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe and leave us a like. And of course, again, podcast form, rate, review, and subscribe. All that stuff really does help. So let's dive right in. The Stanley Cup playoffs are just 3 days old, and they are not disappointing. It has been a phenomenal start to the postseason, including one team that has Stanley Cup or bust written all over them, coming up with a very big performance to start their postseason. We will kick off our NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs, I guess, talk with the Edmonton Oilers. So, the Oilers coming up with a fantastic start and a huge win over the Anaheim Ducks in Game 1 of their Western Conference quarterfinal matchup. And I made the joke on Calgary radio today. We don't want to speak in absolutes about playoff time. We don't want to generalize or assume anything. But I'm going to suggest coming in, Anaheim probably felt like they needed to win all the Connor McDavid doesn't get a point games. But instead, the Oilers, for the first time this season, end up getting a dub when Connor McDavid does not find his way onto the score sheet. And that is it. I have been hard on how Edmonton has put this roster together. I don't like a lot of the team building that they have done. And yet, the depth steps up in a big-time way. Dickinson, we can talk about an overpay at the trade deadline, but he was very good in Game 1 against the Ducks. And then Poeltl, Kapanen with Draisaitl, so it's the second line. And this, just a quick side, this does happen with Edmonton a lot, where we talk about, oh, well, look, the depth scoring comes in. It's like, man, that's your second line. Like, you can't... The depth can't just be everyone who's not McDavid and Draisaitl. But, I mean, Poeltl and Kapanen would probably equate to depth scoring for most teams. It's just they put them up there with Draisaitl so they can kind of spread things out a little bit, but they were great. Poeltl was really good. Kapanen ends up getting a couple of goals, and Draisaitl was just a beast. Like that goal to tie it, he just bullies his way for a zone entry down the right wing side and is able to get the puck down low. They win a battle, get it in front, and Kapanen is able to capitalize. So this was the exact type of win that the Oilers are probably going to have a lot in this postseason. They still can't defend very well. Bouchard still is going to turn the puck over in the defensive zone, but then he makes a great pass to Ekholm to set up a pretty good chance that Karlsson just got a stick on at the last moment. But there's going to be some great moments for Bouchard. There's going to be some not great moments for Bouchard. But this was exactly what the Oilers would have wanted. Good response after a good pushback from Anaheim. But the Ducks showing they're not going away. This is a good Anaheim team. And the high-flying offense that they have, really on display. Love a lot of the stuff that they were able to do, racing up and down the ice. Gudas with a bit of a blown tire on that last one, and that is where they're going to have some struggles. This is not a great team defensively, and you are facing a great offensive team, at least a team with some great offensive pieces, and you're going to have to try to slow them down. They did for a bit, but, I mean, they ultimately come away with a very difficult loss for them to take. So I think there are some positives to take away from it. Terry was awesome in that game. Lacombe throwing his weight around. Karlsson kind of showing you why. John Karlsson, showing you why you make that trade for him. But there is still kind of a level up that the Ducks need to get to, now down 1-0 in their series. The Ottawa Senators and Carolina Hurricanes played in one of the wildest games of the postseason in Game 2, and it's heartbreak for Ottawa. You get some life. You make the save in overtime on a penalty shot and get the chance back, and then you still lose that one. And they had so many opportunities to come up big So many posts that were hit, so many open nets that were missed. Like they played well, and if you just capitalize on any of the great chances that they had, then this one it does. They lost in double overtime. This one goes differently. Stützle had Anderson dead to rights on a move, and he's trying to tuck it in on the I guess it would be his left post, and just as he's tucking it, ends up hitting the post. Like that is a goal for him 9 times out of 10. And and off it went. It was one of those nights for the Senators. So many chances, and now still down 2-0. Now, going back home, that's one thing. You are going to have to win in that building at some point if you're going to win this series and move on. But there are some things that you like coming out of that. One thing I will say, and my opinion of this guy has changed greatly coming off of the Olympics and that whole thing afterward and everything, but I think they need more from their captain, the Sens. I think they need more from Brady Tkachuk. You look at, like, the fight to start things off. We as fans love it. A good little tilt to get the playoffs started. You're the road team, though, and that just got the home crowd, all different kinds of fired up. Like, I don't think that benefited the Ottawa Senators any. And then he took a really dumb penalty in this game that led to Carolina. I can't remember if they scored off of that or at least had some momentum off of it. But either way, a dumb penalty for Brady Tkachuk to end up taking. And we saw this in Calgary with Matthew in the beginning parts of his career, where, like, he has obviously blossomed into an excellent playoff player. And he's always been a very, very good one. But he would get a little bit lost in it sometimes and really get lost in trying to get under the other team's skin to the point where it started to become a bit of a detriment and he lost focus on the other things that he was supposed to be doing. It feels like Brady is there as well with the Sens team, where he is more focused on being the pest, being the physical guy, than he is being what he could be, and that is one of the best players out on the ice. So the Sens need that guy to show up, not the pest, not the puncher, not any of that. The Sens need the guy who can be one of the better players in the world to step up and help them out of the hole that they are in this series right now. Up next, we go to the Philadelphia Flyers. I have been so impressed with how the Flyers have looked. And part of it could be Pittsburgh might just be a little old because they're looking their age right now. But I do think part of it is this Flyers team is, pardon the pun, but they're flying. They look so good out there on the offensive side. I mean, all ends, right? They give up 2 shots in the first period. Like, they have locked things down there as well. But offensively, they are able to just generate so much speed and so many chances off of it. They look like the quicker team, but they also look composed. Like that Game 1 winner from Martone, where he's racing down the right wing, stops up, and just so many kids in the 12th game of their NHL career, even if that was in October, are racing down and trying to force that shot on goal or wasting it into the corner or something. He stops up, assesses the situation, and then is able to plant himself and get a good shot on net, and it happens to go in, beating Skinner, and that ends up being the winner for the Flyers. And he stepped up again in this second game. He is so mature and so ready stepping into these situations here for the Flyers, and it just gives them another boost. And made the reference again, Calgary Radio today, where in the past, and we're seeing a little bit here, right, with Draisaitl with the Oilers, Heiskanen a little bit with Dallas, where you had a guy out for a little bit, and now they're ready for day 1 of the playoffs, and that's the boost that you get. Now, because we have the salary cap thing, and you don't have as many teams making that move to, okay, well, this guy was on LTIR, and now he's not, and now our roster is stacked. Instead, now, you are bringing in these guys from college, or junior, I suppose, and plopping them right in the lineup as former first-round picks, and they're going out and stepping up into these situations. So it has been very fun to watch the Flyers kind of step into this position, and the Penguins now are in trouble. They looked better in Game 2, but still wasn't overly competitive, in my mind. They need to be a lot better in Game 3, and now they're going on the road for the next couple. The Dallas Stars had probably the biggest win of the night. They couldn't afford to go down 2-0, and the big players stepped up when they needed to. Oettinger was fantastic, and there have been some critics of him, and when you give up 6 in Game 1, those are going to come back. But I thought he was tremendous in Game number 2. Minnesota had so many point-blank chances that Oettinger just flat out robbed. He kept them in this game and allowed them to get that victory. And I had said it in other places, I thought Rantanen needed to be better in this one. Like this is a big one for him. We all know he's a very good player, but when you kind of half force your way out of a couple of spots and you want to be the guy, and now you're paid like the guy, you kind of got to be the guy. And I didn't think he was in game one. He was in game two. Makes a good entry, nice passing play with Matt Duchene to set up, I believe, eventually the game winner for Dallas. Either way, a good one there. And was just a very noticeable presence throughout this game. I thought the same with Johnston as well. On the Minnesota side, you get a split in Dallas, you're fine with that. Wallstedt has been so good so far. Like the one that beats him in the first period ricocheted off the wall and bounced back in front. And I think we need to have a very real conversation about the best defensive pair in the NHL. Because for a long time, the default has just been Makar and Taves. But Faber and Hughes, I think, takes the belt now. They look... It's scary how good they are. That 4-on-4 goal where Hughes is circling around, lost it a little bit to Robertson, but Faber, good skating to get back, and then he drove to the front of the net like he was Evgeny Malkin, cuts into the slot, and a beautiful shot finishes it off. Like, that's a very good move for a forward to make. That's a move that defensemen have been making for like 2 years. Like, you don't see that from guys at that position. So, like, they're looking good. Boldy has had so many chances. Kaprizov looks good. Like, this series is going to be as advertised, I think. But the only way it was going to get there was with a Dallas victory in Game 2, and they ended up getting it. So, some big moments already from players stepping up so far. What's been your favorite performance of the postseason? Let me know down in the comments. And if you have any other thoughts on any of the series we talked about here, let me know, and we can keep that conversation going. If you're watching this on YouTube and want to bring Couch Potato Diary with you wherever you go, you can check it out in podcast form. Just search Couch Potato Diary on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your pods. Make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss an episode, and leave a review. That stuff really does help as we are trying to grow the channel here with Couch Potato Diary. The Toronto Raptors are in a 2-0 series hole, and that is about what they deserve. It has not been a bright, shining first 2 games of the postseason for the Raps, who are now hoping a return to Toronto can get them back on track, but even that might not be enough. It hasn't looked close so far. Let's break down the first 2 games of that Eastern Conference quarterfinal. So, like I said, this has not been a good start to the postseason for the Toronto Raptors. They have struggled mightily against this Cleveland Cavaliers team. Now, I will say, they stepped up a little bit in Game 2, which is good, but it still doesn't look great. And it is tough because he's been an all-star this season. He has played so well, but the Raptors need Brandon Ingram to be better. He needs to be so much better. Game 1, I think rightly so, calls for more shots, and just 9 in the game. I think it was like the 4th or 5th fewest he had with the Raptors all season long, so in his Raptors career, I suppose. And it's tough because Barnes had a pretty good day in Game 1, but no one else in the offense did, so you need to try to kind of find that flow, find that rhythm for him. So they had the offense run through him in Game 2, and I thought he was pretty dreadful. None of the shots were falling. There were some times where it was a good look and it just didn't go for him, like the make or miss league thing. But it just felt like there was a lot of focus on trying to get him going, and that came at the detriment of the rest of the offense. And it just kind of made what was already a team that felt like they were a little bit behind the 8 ball offensively feel just even that much more behind things on the offensive side. So they need him to be better in this series for them to have a hope. Because right now, like they showed it on the broadcast on TSN last night, the graphic of Mitchell and Harden versus Barnes and Ingram, and they were just getting whooped on. And that basically everything positively on the Raptor side was coming from Scotty Barnes there. Like there's not enough going on with him. And defensively, it's going to be tricky when Quickly comes back. What do they do with a guard duo that's already kind of crushing them? And Quickly, who's not going to get many Defensive Player of the Year votes anytime soon. So what do you do with him? But I think offensively, having him back is going to be very good. Like it feels like, well, I like Shed, and I even don't mind at times having like Ingram run the offense. it does feel like they've needed a facilitator to settle things down and just get them into the offense a little bit easier. Whether it was game one when it was just Cleveland would get a shot and we need to answer right back three. Chuck missed, back the other way it goes, and fast break opportunity and Cleveland scores. Like that's what was happening in game one. And then game two, there was just no flow to it. There was nothing really clicking for this team to get them into that rhythm on the offensive side. And I think that's where they do miss quickly here. So we will see if he'll be available for game three when the series returns to Toronto in a couple of days here, because the offense needs something to kind of guide it through some of these tough moments here. I do like that there have been some positives here, right? Like Barnes has played very well. RJ has even stepped up in some moments too. But Colin Murray-Boyles, unbelievable work. And yeah, you can go on this channel and find where I was freaking out about him being upset about getting drafted by the Raptors. Apparently that was misinterpreted and everything there. And if he's upset about being a Raptor, he is sure doing a heck of a job of auditioning for other teams. Obviously, I don't think that's the case. I think he is really happy to be in Toronto, and he is showing it. He has stepped up in a big-time way to the point where he started at center in the second half to try to give this team a bit of a spark, getting the minutes over Poeltl, who has just looked so out of place and looked like such a liability. And that's not awesome when you have a gigantic extension that hasn't even started yet, about to kick in next year. But Murray-Boyles has just done everything that you could have asked him to do and everything you could have asked a rookie to do in this series. And I'll be interested to see now what the lineups look like going into game number 3 here. But the main thing is they need to figure out something to kind of slow Harden down. He has been phenomenal in this series, and I am one of the leading haters of James Harden, career-wise, all of that, to the point where I'll see clips people talking about, and the first ballot Hall of Famer, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm just like, that's not, yeah, okay. Sometimes I have to catch my own kind of haterade going on with this dude, but he's still very, very good, and he is showing it here in this series. The wizardry that he has, passing the basketball and distributing some of the big shots that he is making, an expert in the stiff arm and the push-off, obviously, being a little facetious here, but this has been a very good James Harden series, and he is absolutely crushing the Raptors. The only time he's looked even a little bit flustered is when length gets switched onto him, and so I do wonder, I don't know if you're trusting Ingram to just stay in front of him for 30 minutes or whatever. And Barnes, you can't take him off of Mobley because then Mobley's killing you. But I do wonder if trying to throw a little bit more size, a little bit more length at Harden to just try to get into some of those passing lanes a little bit better might be the way to go with that, because he has been just absolutely dynamite. And then Mitchell stepping, all of them. There hasn't really been a dud in the bunch for Cleveland so far. So we'll see how that series goes. Am I being too hard on the Raptors? Let me know down in the comments, and what do you think they need to do to kind of dig themselves out of this hole going into game number 3? We can chat about that down in the comments. Let me know how you think we can kind of salvage this Raptors season. And while you're at it, hit that share button so we can keep this conversation going with a bunch of Raptor fans. We're trying to grow the community, love talking about basketball, and the Raptors specifically. Don't know how much longer we'll be able to do that this year, but love doing that. So want to grow the community here with Couch Potato Diary. Hit that share button. Share this with some of your basketball fan friends, or if you just want to taunt a Raptor fan, you can do that too, and they can come fire back here in the comments. But that would be a great help here with Couch Potato Diary. All right, that's the show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Again, as always, we are presented by Sea of Dead. Head over to seaofdead403.ca and grab all that great Calgary swag. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and hit subscribe as well. That stuff really does help. And share your thoughts in the comments on some of the stuff that we talked about today. Also, if you are watching this, make sure that you check out the podcast. Search Couch Potato Diary on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your pods. If you are listening in podcast form, want to catch some of the stuff on YouTube, I know we cover a lot of different sports, and that's not everyone's bag. I've broken every sport up into playlists, so you can just go check out. If you just want the football, we got the football. Just want the wrestling, we got the wrestling. We also have the Living Room Lariat podcast that is available with just the wrestling content from Couch Potato Diary. We also just all that stuff, just specifically the one area of it. So you can check that out there. Just search youtube.com/@ Couch Potato Diary. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. More stuff to come. I know I said maybe some wrestling talk and some football on this one. That is going to be on the episode coming up tomorrow. So make sure you check that out. Thank you guys so much. And we'll talk to all of you later.